love that. Welcome back to another episode of Thinking That Matters. I'm Elizabeth Mahusay, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, the amazing, the marvelous.
Thank you.
Karla Lewis. I will let her tell you why that word is so incredibly important. So Karla, share with our audience a little bit about you and how you got to where you are today.
Oh, wow. So I, as a sales and sales leadership coach here at Southwestern, I've always been super excited to help people. On the Enneagram, I'm a 2.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so helping people, making sure that people know they matter, and really just living out my purpose. Part of my purpose statement is my purpose and the reason I exist is to be a positive difference maker. And so all of my careers, which have always been in sales, but part of my career path has always involved just some sort of helping and developing and nurturing people. And here at Southwestern, I get to do that through sales, leadership, coaching, all of the things that we get to do.
So because obviously you haven't been here your whole life.
No.
So what were some of your other career opportunities that you had that helped to cultivate this desire to be a difference maker, to serve people, to see them succeed?
Yeah, so right out of college, I don't even know if you know this about me, I ran my own clothing store.
I didn't know this about you.
Yes.
See, we're learning things.
New things every day. I ran my own clothing store, and
so many things are making a whole lot of sense right now.
see, I didn't sell shoes though, but
okay, that would make even more sense.
I ran my own clothing store, and then it just got to, that's such a tough market. Not that I'm a quitter, because I'm not a quitter, but I could see the writing on the wall, and I could see just the revenue was not there.
Okay.
So always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And then I went and I've sold, where did I go? I sold newspaper advertising. I've sold high-speed wireless internet. I've sold temporary service, like people.
Okay.
Selling people legally. But nothing just really ever felt like it clicked. And I've always been passionate about just being self-motivated and self-driven and forging my own path. And I like to make my own rules. I know you do know that about me.
I do know that about you.
And so being an entrepreneur was always something that was really important to me. And so being able to connect that entrepreneurial side of me with that passion for helping and serving other people, this just was the perfect fit a little over 11 years ago.
Wow. Well, it is fun to know that you ran your own clothing store.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Also a good business. I mean, you were being very good business mind. You had a good business mind to you to go, okay, revenue's not there. I can't keep doing what I've been doing, expecting different results.
Right.
So, and before you came here, let's put this aside for the moment, your current career. What were some of your challenges? I mean, you had your own clothing store. It's challenging to own your own business, much less something that's very retail driven.
Yes.
Well, if you had to give maybe one of your top thinking challenges that you faced in developing as an entrepreneur, what would you say that is?
I would say it actually wasn't when I owned my own store.
Okay.
It was right before I came here. Actually,
Okay.
it was my biggest thinking challenge. I come from a smaller town in Ohio, and I was running an online business directory before Facebook became really popular, where businesses could market themselves on Facebook for little to nothing. And so I was running an online business directory.
Okay.
And I had a marketing consulting company at the time as well. And when this opportunity was presented to me, my biggest thinking challenge is people will think I failed at this over here. And my husband actually challenged me to see it not as people will see that I failed, but that is what led me to Southwestern. And so getting through that, what will other people think, which you and I really know doesn't really matter. And then just thinking through the what's on the other side of this and the opportunity that there was. But if I would have sat in that garbage of thinking that what will people think, and I let that rule me, you and I wouldn't be sitting here today.
I know. Okay, so, but I think this thinking challenge that you have shared is one for a lot of the people who either watch and or listen to this, right?
Absolutely, it is.
So if you are listening and you are in this place of fear, would you say it's fear? That fear of what will people think?
I think it could be fear. I think that it could be a little bit of confidence shaken. I think it could be just, what word would I put to it? Just maybe fear of the unknown. Like that was comfortable, even though it wasn't profitable. It was comfortable. And so getting outside of our comfort zone, which is where we know
that's where you
everything grows.
That's where you
Nothing
grow.
grows in a comfort zone.
Isn't that interesting that even though we know something's not working, because it feels comfortable, we're more likely to stay with it. And then we don't like ourselves for having stayed with it.
Right.
We are complicated people.
Yes, we are.
Complicated people. But so you said that your husband helped you. He got you to think differently. So the thought challenge was, what will people think? They might think I failed. And he challenged you on that. For the person listening, how would you challenge them maybe where they possibly are stuck because they're so concerned about what other people will think?
Why do you care what other people will think? And that was the question that Brad asked me. Why do you care so much? They are not living your life. They are not doing what you're doing. They shouldn't have that power over you.
That power over you. That's an example of, just thinking that when we give them that power, literally,
because we do,
yes,
we give it to them.
Yeah, when we give them that power, it's as though we are turning over the reins of our mind to someone else who's not even living our life.
Right.
Why
do we do that?
We could probably have multiple podcast episodes on why we do that, because that actually would be a really good series to explore.
Yes, it would.
The why of that. So, but I'm grateful to know that, Brad was willing to say, why do you care about that? And for you, if you could think back to you're saying yes to joining Southwestern.
I remember where I was.
Okay. What thought went through your mind when you reached that, I don't care what people think, I'm doing this?
It was a couple of thoughts, actually. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay.
Was one of the first ones. Another thought that went through my mind was, why stay in a career that wasn't fulfilling, that wasn't working, that I felt stifled? And I'm a risk taker, that entrepreneurial side. And it's like, instead of looking at it from a what if this fails, I chose to dive in and say, what will it take to succeed?
So say that one more time. Rather than looking at it
of what happens if this fails, so the negative side of our thinking, which is where we all naturally go when we're not controlling our thoughts, I chose to think, what's the opportunity that's out there? If I lean into this, what does it take to succeed? Yes, what does it take to succeed?
Okay, that's interesting, because the what if this fails, which agreed can keep us in a negative headspace.
Yeah.
What does it take to succeed? When you take that thought, it opens the mind to all sorts of possibilities.
Yes.
So for you, you were like, what does it take to succeed? So you make a career shift. You join Southwestern. What have you found in the way of what it takes to succeed? Because here's what I'm looking for. Not so much like here within this company, but
not the work ethic. Yes.
The principles that any listener could take and go, I could do that.
Yeah.
What are the things you've learned?
So the first thing I've learned is to lean into who I know God made me to be. And God did not make me fearless and weak and all of the garbage that we tell ourselves. God made me to be fearless and confident and powerful and passionate and just all of those good
Yeah.
traits, a servant and purposeful and driven and gritty and all of those things. And so really leaning into that. Also, it's really leaning into my own vision, my own purpose, and my own mission statement, reading that aloud every day, and then surrounding myself with constant reminders of positive thinking, constant reminders of surrender. You and I have had those conversations a lot. Constant reminders, just of like my vision board, constant reminders of things that keep me forward thinking and not looking back.
Looking back. Okay. So many good things there. And one of the questions that I like to ask, so this is a good segue, is in what ways has your faith been part of your development, as a business owner, in this, for you as an entrepreneur? And you said to lean into who God made me to be. How has that really, how have you seen that transforming you? And I keep it as an ongoing kind of present participle.
It absolutely is.
Because we're always in a state of transformation.
We sure are.
How has your faith been such a critical part of your growth?
Well, I think if it wasn't for my faith, I wouldn't have stepped into this career. I wouldn't have stepped into any of the careers that I had. But my faith is just, it's who I am. It's how I'm rooted. And as far as my faith developing, it's consistently leaning in. I have a Christian coach that I work with twice a week. And she challenges me to make sure that my thinking is aligned with who God says I am. And just really, again, just surrounding myself with the right people, surrounding myself, the people that are going to pour into me from a faith-based standpoint. And part of that is challenging me to think different, I think back to last week when I was stomping in my driveway, talking on the phone to you. You were in my ears, but talking on the phone to you, and just how you and I are able to challenge each other to, is this really the right thing? And it helps me stay rooted and in truth and strength and doing what's right, which is a big part of that integrity, which is part of my my thinking, and doing the right things, not the comfortable things. And so my faith has played a role in every part of my life, including my career.
Man,
and my thinking. It's what my thinking is based on.
Yeah, so you definitely said that, rooted in truth, and for you, truth is connected to your faith.
Yes, it absolutely is.
And I think that's important. I think no matter where a person listening falls, would they call themselves a person of faith or not, no matter what, we can all agree we need truth.
Absolutely.
We need, and ideally, it's an unchanging truth.
Yes, it's a steadfast truth.
Yes, because otherwise we find ourselves just all over the map, which it's hard to live that way.
Yes, it's exhausting.
It is very exhausting. You know, what's interesting in listening to you, when I asked you about, the principles that you've learned over the course of your career, you talked about my own vision, my purpose, my mission, surrounding myself with the people, the surrender piece of it. You know what's interesting, and I hope you all pick this up, is that not once did you hear Karla say that I need to make a certain number of calls or a certain number of meetings, or because these things that you've mentioned, looking at your vision board, really ensuring that with your Christian coach, you're thinking in a way that moves you in the right direction. How do you connect how that helps your thinking to doing the things that allow you to be successful? Because I want to assure you, she's doing the things that help her to be successful. But I think oftentimes people they focus on the activity to the neglect of the thinking. That's my whole passion, is to get people to reverse that.
Yes.
So talk to me about that.
I believe, and I harness this, it's the power of and. So here at Southwestern, it's selling and coaching. With our thinking, it's thinking and faith. With our activity, it's the thinking and activity. It's embracing the power of and versus or. So thinking, well, in order to be successful, I can either do this or I can do this. I look at it as and. I need to be really good at and that doesn't mean that I have a bunch of balls in the air and I am trying to do 47 things all at once. That's not what I'm saying. The and is the leaning in and learning, the challenge and positive thinking. It's the faith and overcoming challenges. It's all of that, and it's just, and for me, that's what integrity is. And you and I have had this conversation too. Just integrity is such a huge value of mine that the thinking piece to me aligns with integrity, because I can't be saying one thing and thinking another. And so I have to have everything aligned in order for me to live out who I am. And part of the success is not just professional success. It's success in my marriage. It's success as a mom. It's success as a mother-in-law. It's success as a Grammy, which is the most important part.
I can't wait to be one.
It's the best. It's the best. But it's aligning all of that and thinking positively about all of that. And then speaking of the Grammy part, it's imparting that thinking that, and it's not just positive thinking, it's truthful thinking. It's thinking that forwards us. It's thinking that aligns. And making sure that my grandchildren know that. And two little funny stories. My granddaughter Nora, who is 9, she will be 10, she was listening from the other room on a coaching call, and one of my clients said, "Karla, I can't do that." And I heard Nora say, "Uh-oh." I was like, "Uh-oh is right." And then another one, my granddaughter Nirvana, who lives in Lebanon, Tennessee, my phone rang, and it was my daughter-in-law's cell phone number, because my 6-year-old granddaughter does not have a cell phone. But I answered, and I thought it was going to be Desiree, and it was Nirvana. And she says, "Grammy, I need you to talk to my mom." And I said, "Okay, what's going on?" And she said, "My mom just said can't, and I asked her for her phone because I need to call Grammy. You need to give her a talking to and tell her that is not how we talk."
Oh my word, I love it.
So it's creating that next generation, that third generation of positive difference makers. And to me, that's my
That's legacy.
That's
legacy.
And my vision is to leave a lasting legacy where I impact people to help them maximize their purpose and values to glorify God. And so that's legacy. That's my purpose. And then my mission is all of the things that I do on a consistent basis to hit that.
Man, yeah, but the small piece of what you said is your work ethic. Really where the real work is happening, I hope you're catching this, where the real work is happening is in Karla's thinking.
Yes.
Right? It's in your thinking. I love the power of and how you describe that. I immediately, as you were giving all of the different aspects, thinking and this, embracing, you said leaning in and learning. I would challenge you, think about what your and statements would be, right, for your life. Literally, because you said it was that versus or.
Yes.
And so for those of you who don't know, I have a science background. So literally what I thought of was, before everything became electronic, we literally had what we called balance beam scales, where, there's 2 round plates, there's a base.
Yes.
And you put one thing on one side and you're trying to balance it so that it's even on the other. And in my mind's eye, I saw your and it's, it's both. It's leaning in and it's learning. Versus if I say I can either sell, right?
Right.
Or it's like we're doing this.
Right.
And we're constantly doing this. It becomes more like a seesaw.
Yes.
And then we feel out of whack, out of balance.
Yes.
Is that making sense?
It does make a lot of sense. And I will say that the and is not always equally balanced. It can shift a little bit, but you're right. It's when it's that seesaw that it really makes the exhaustion set in.
Right, it's where we feel super out of whack. I
Yes,
think
out of alignment.
Exactly, out of alignment. Where because small adjustments would be expected, right?
Right.
Based on a little is taken away, a little is added
Right.
on either side of that scale.
Exactly.
But it's when we go to the extremes. Maybe
Yes.
or
That's a great way to
sometimes
describe
take
it.
us to extremes.
Yes.
And then we wonder why we are mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually exhausted.
Yes.
That is so, so good. Something that you said that I just want to explore a little bit more. I love how you said it's cultivating thinking that forwards us. Oh, that is so rich right there. So I would love for you to, like in your mind, give us maybe an example of thinking for you that has helped to forward you.
So for me, it's yes, drawing on things that I've accomplished in the past. Confidence anchors are big for me, to anchor myself to, I did that, but I don't live there. I don't live in I did that. It's almost this catapult, this fuel to get me to the next goal. And I have big goals. I have big things I want to achieve this year. And so I can either choose, because thinking is a choice, I can either choose to think, oh my goodness, that is such a huge goal. How am I ever going to get there? Or I can choose to look at it from, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where I have to go. Here's the plan to get there, and keep my focus on the forward. And in sales specifically, I think a lot of times we get thrown off the rails too quickly. We get too emotional. And I really try to stick to just keep going, keep going. There's something better. And for me, it's I'm a journaler in the morning. I have my prayer card box. I have devotions that I do. I have all of these things that I start my day right, and that forwards me into the day versus getting up, not getting around on time, those kinds of things. But it's having a plan and a system and just executing and keeping my mind forward. Does that mean I never have challenges? No, that doesn't mean I never have challenges.
We're still living life.
Right, exactly. Life happens. People happen. But it's having those go-to things that I know. For me, a lot of it is surrender. It's I can't take that, God, that one's yours. I'm moving on to the next thing. And so just knowing, and it's like when you go out for dinner, and my coach and I have had this conversation. You go out for dinner, and I'm a sweets girl. I love my sweets.
I love me some sweets.
I love me some sweets. Chocolate. I love me some sweets. But you eat and you're full, you're satisfied, but they bring the dessert tray back. And they show it to you. They're like, look at all of our dessert. And you're like, oh, I'm really full, but I'll have that. And then you feel, ugh, right?
Yeah.
But if we have a plan ahead of time, and Brad and I will do this, we're like, no dessert. No dessert tonight. Doesn't matter what we're doing, no
That's
dessert.
the plan.
Or there are times that we're like, hey, let's not eat as much so we can share a dessert because it's a special occasion or something. So when you plan ahead and you know what you need to think, when the dessert tray comes by, I'm not tempted. When the challenges come up, I'm not tempted to have stinking thinking.
Yeah, that's so true. I think part of what I've just heard there, and it's so incredibly valuable. Oftentimes, the battle in our mind is won in our will, right? Our will to basically decide in advance.
Yes.
Like, which to your point, you said to think in advance. You're thinking of a plan in advance of the dessert tray coming in front of you.
Yes.
So that you know how you're going to respond. And it's in our lack of thinking in advance that we get into all sorts of challenges, whether it's we're saying yes to too many things, or we're just not focused, or to your point, we don't have a good morning routine, so we end up not having a good routine throughout the entire day.
Right. We let the day run us.
It's so true. Man, I love that. So many good pieces. I just want to go back. I love your purpose is to be a positive difference maker. And that entrepreneurial spirit that you have, you have really made a conscious effort to think well, is what I'm gathering, as I'm listening to you, and the value of leaning into who God made you to be, and the power of and I love that thinking that forwards us. So I would love for you to close us out. I ask every guest why you believe it's important to cultivate thinking that matters. How would you answer that?
How would I cultivate thinking that matters?
Why
is that
do you
important?
believe that you believe it's important to cultivate?
I believe that if we don't cultivate thinking that matters, we are allowing the negativity and the junk to get in. And so in order to continue to move forward, regardless of what career we're in, I believe that thinking that matters is something that the planning part, we need to plan in a logical state so when the emotion shows up, we know what we're going to do. So thinking that matters is having a plan of how we're going to think. So when the emotion shows up, because it will, the emotion always shows up.
Oh, yes, it does.
We know, I know, okay, I've already decided. And that's my thoughts of thinking that matters, is deciding ahead of time. No, that when the challenges come, this is how I'm going to think.
Man, I love that. In a sense, thinking that matters is like the GPS.
It is.
That guides you
Yes.
through every portion of your journey,
Yes.
because you're constantly deciding in advance. Man, I love that. And that really goes to the point of thinking that forwards us.
Yes.
So when we cultivate thinking that matters, we're cultivating thinking that forwards us in the direction that we're desiring
Absolutely.
to go. I love that. I cannot wait to hear the sound bites and the nuggets that you have gotten from this episode. Thank you so much, Karla. I want to challenge each one of you. Where can you focus on the power of and? Where can you cultivate thinking that forwards you? Because you know what I always say, when you cultivate thinking that matters, you can live a life and build a business that truly matters.